The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day, a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hid your fury and kept it in. But it's time now, you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 7 knee-jerk stream. We're going to talk about all the action from Game Week 6 so far. We still have one game left, which is Everton versus West Ham tomorrow night. West Ham without a manager, of course. I'm on 74 points, which, it was looking so good up until the 96th minute of the Arsenal-Newcastle game, when Gabriel scored a header worth 9 points. So he was already on 4 because of defensive contributions. The goal took him up another 6, and then he got 3 bonus as well. Absolute killer, because Gabriel is probably the one player I regret not picking on wildcard. And Gabriel instead of Van Dijk, was I really going to consider that? I don't know, but if I just go on Gabriel, things would look so good right now. I could just roll for the next few game weeks and have nothing to worry about, but I think I've probably got to buy Gabriel this week. So that was a bit of a killer. And I think wildcard sixers mostly had Gabriel as well. So it kind of dampened the triple captain a little bit. But I'm not going to complain because that is my first good triple captain score in the history of the triple captain chip. So I'm going to take that as a positive. And let's be honest, 74 points is pretty good this week. Although 48 of the points have come from Haaland. So the rest of the players, what is that? 1, 2, 3, I think it's about, I don't know, it's like 26 points or something from the rest of the 9 players, which is a little bit crazy. But look, it is what it is. So plenty to discuss, I'm sure, going into Game Week 7. Although Game Week 7 should be a little bit calmer, I think, than Game Week 6. There won't be so many chips played, maybe some bench boosts and stuff like that. Eze 90 minutes, yes, he played centrally again, but Odegaard's back now. So will Eze keep playing? Maybe, maybe not. Let me just change the music a second. We'll have to see. Haaland triple captain outscored my entire team. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And the 2 goals came from the 90th minute onwards as well. Eze stayed on, so yes. I don't think you can say that Eze is going to keep playing with Odegaard back just because he stayed on. Arsenal were chasing the game. Watkins finally scored. He did. In fact, since wildcard 4, Watkins has now outscored Gyökeres by 2 points. Is Saka to Salah worth it? Not this week. Saka's got West Ham at home. Salah has Chelsea away. Saka being subbed off annoyed me. I mean, he's just back from injury. So I don't think it's that surprising, to be honest with you. Look like, oh yeah, so the penalty situation. So Gyökeres won a penalty, then it was overturned. Saka was holding the ball. But generally these days, the player that holds the ball is not necessarily the one that's going to take it. So I suspect that Gyökeres was going to take it, but we won't know until they get another penalty. Which is a bit which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. But yeah, for my team, just quickly to go back to that, the only players that return outside of Haaland was Semenyo 7-pointer and Senesi 7-pointer. I mean, Van Dijk and Anderson got DEFCONs, but it's 5 points between them. And obviously, Bruno Fernandes missed another penalty. Bruno Fernandes, even with the misses this season, has something like an 88% conversion rate, and yet he's missed 2 out of 3. So he's had 3 penalties in the first 6 weeks, and he's missed 2 of them. What could have been if those penalties had gone in instead? Will he lose penalties? I was pretty confident he wouldn't after the first miss. Now I'm a little bit less sure, I guess. Gabriel and Rode on the bench. Ouch. I don't think many teams would bench Gabriel this week, but there probably is some pretty good defences out there. Nah, it wasn't really that great of a penalty, I don't think. I wouldn't say it was an awful penalty, but it wasn't a great one either. Bruno is on course to get 19 penalties this season, hopefully. How is that there's no clean sheet, but 2 of the 3 wildcard template defenders have over 7? I mean, you know the answer to that, right? Surely. Bruno may be in this week, though, with Sunderland next. I mean, I might sell Bruno in game week 8. I don't know. All depends on Gabriel, really. Like, if I bring in Gabriel this week, Fernandes stays for quite a while. Or I could roll and do Yorkeresh, Fernandes to Salah and Strand Larsen in game week 8. And just get Salah back and just go for a Salah Haaland team. How is Brentford defence for Haaland this week? Pretty good, I would say. He's definitely going to be my captain. I don't think I can put myself through Bruno Fernandes captain. Is Porro a minutes risk now? I wouldn't call him a minutes risk, but he's obviously going to get the odd rest when he needs it. Yeah, having Gabriel covered, not triple captain, and tell me about it. Honestly, that's dampened my mood on this game week, that Gabriel goal. Really has. Because he was such an obvious pick as well. Is free hit game week 7 viable? Possibly, depending on your team. Yorkeresh is so bad he will be gone after the West Ham game. Yeah, I want to give him at least one more easy game before I completely write him off, because Newcastle away is not an easy match. I would say, I think he had 5 shots today, but his XG was pretty low. For me, he just takes too long to shoot, or at least that's my takeaway from this one game sample size against Newcastle. There's a couple of times he should have just shot earlier. I'm not saying he would have definitely scored, but not ideal, I would say. Which 3 Arsenal picks would you go for this week? Gabriel, Yorkeresh and Saka, probably. If I'm on like free hit, I'd probably go against the double defence, although I've not really thought about it too much. Is Foden to Doku points chasing? There's no need to sell Foden. If he had taken the penalty, everyone would have been happy with it. Well, that depends whether he would have scored it or not. Is Gabriel the best Arsenal pick? Yes, and he always has been. Sell Salah if I have Haaland already. For who, though? Sunderland assets? I mean, absolutely go for Sunderland players if you're on wildcard and stuff. I'm not sure they're so good you need to transfer them in, though. But, I mean, I was joking about it 2 or 3 weeks ago about maybe the Sunderland defence is amazing. Maybe it just is. Maybe it just is. What's your take on Evan Nielsen? I have him, he's good, but their midfielders are more better. Yeah, but there's no need to remove Evan Nielsen to buy a midfielder. You can just buy a midfielder as well. I think Evan Nielsen's fine for 7 million, but he's nothing... Like, I wouldn't be going out of my way to sell him. But he's, like... I guess if you got the luxury of moving them on, you could. But when you start thinking about the forwards, not many of them are doing great at the moment. So I'd almost just take my chances with holding on to him. Like, I know Voltemada's just scored Watkins, but no one's bringing in Watkins this week, right? I doubt any... Maybe you could go for Voltemada, I guess. But he's off on 65 minutes. I would just hold Evan Nielsen. Like, he's not that exciting of a pick, but he's also just fine, I think. Yeah, Xhaka at 5 million looks good. I mean, you could maybe say he's better than Dewsbury Hall's stat, but these are not players you want to move around that much. So if you're on wildcard or if you're downgrading a player and you need money, then maybe you look at Sunderland players. But I'm not looking at them thinking, that's got to be my next transfer. I've got to get a Sunderland player in. It's just not happening whatsoever, I would say. Isak or Voltemada? Probably Isak, I guess. But it's a lot more money. I'm probably just going to avoid both for now. João Pedro into Voltemada. If you got João Pedro, there's no reason to sell, I don't think. Is Bruno still worth it to keep? I mean, he's playing Sunderland this week. Thoughts on Timber? Look really attacking, had a few chances. Timber and Calafiori are great if they keep starting, which right now, they do keep starting. Is that always going to happen? We'll have to wait and see. Could they get a bit of a rest in an easier fixture? Maybe. Benched Watkins for Dewsbury Hall. Ouch, yeah, I wouldn't have done that personally. But you never know. Dewsbury Hall might outscore Watkins tomorrow. Maybe he goes and gets another 12-pointer. I think I've got to tell him. I'm honestly, for some reason that Gabriel goal has just absolutely killed my love for game week 6, but which is ridiculous when I think about it. I'm on 74 points. I've gone from 900k to top 400k. I've gone from 4.3 million to 370k in 3 weeks playing wildcard, bench boost, triple captain. I should be over the moon. Maybe Dewsbury Hall will cheer me up tomorrow. Yeah, Gabriel over Van Dijk. So the big thing for me next week, right, looking at my team, is do I buy Gabriel and who do I buy him for? Because I've got 2.9 million. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not. Get your violins out. I'm having a great 3 weeks. This is what I'm saying, and yet I'm disappointed because Gabriel scored. It's ridiculous. We always want more. I'm telling myself to stop being ridiculous. I'm not saying woe is me. But yeah, I've got 2.9 million in the bank, so I can literally sell any defender for Gabriel, and I'm tempted to sell Goodmanson, which would leave me with Gabriel, Van Dijk, Senesi, Lacroix, and Anderson, which is quite an expensive defence, and it also blocks me off from getting Salah without selling Haaland. But you know what? I'm kind of okay with it, because I don't think I need to get Salah back until game week 12. I think Haaland captain is fine in 7, 8, 9, and 10. 11 they play each other, and Haaland's at home anyway. It's 12 where I really want him back. I think. So I was chatting in the Discord earlier about maybe selling Van Dijk to Gabriel, but it feels like using a transfer to then. Sorry, I think it ultimately adds an extra transfer down the line, because when you look at the fixtures for Liverpool from game week 8 all the way to game week, I would say game week 19. I think there's only maybe 2 matches in there you'd be worried, not even worried is not the term to use, but where Van Dijk wouldn't necessarily be great. Like, if we just quickly go through these fixtures, and I'll probably do this on a video this week, like, if I've got to play Van Dijk against Man United at home, that's fine. Brentford away, fine. Villa at home, fine. City away, not so good. Then the really good fixture run starts in 12. Forest at home, good. West Ham away, good. Sunderland at home, good. Leeds away, good. Brighton at home, not bad. Spurs away, okay, not quite so good. But then it's Wolves at home, Leeds at home. Like, this is just such a good run for Van Dijk. It just feels weird to sell him. And Gabriel is the better pick. So doing Van Dijk to Gabriel makes some sense. But I think they're both good picks, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. So using a transfer to sell a good pick just to keep money in the bank, I'm not quite sure about that. And I, like other people, look at the Liverpool defence and think it's not actually been that good this season. They do look quite open. But then when I look at the stats, in 4 of the matches, they've kept the opposition down to less than 1 XG. Now, one of those games was Everton at home, right? It's an easier fixture. One was Burnley away, but they've got lots of good fixtures coming up. And the Newcastle game, okay, Newcastle played well, and they were down to 10 men anyway, I get it. Arsenal 0.49 XG. Now, they got absolutely smashed yesterday by Palace. Palace should have scored way more goals in that game, and they conceded 1.7 against Bournemouth game week 1. But overall, they've kind of been okay. So the stats look fairly good. We know traditionally Liverpool are like a top 5 defence. Van Dijk's got goal threat, maybe not quite as good as Gabriel. And the fixtures are good for quite a while. So it's like selling a good player to get a slightly better player. Slightly better player. So I'm probably going to keep him. So I might do Goodmanson to Gabriel, but that kind of locks me into this structure for a little while. But I think I might be okay. Yeah, I'm not going to keep talking about Van Dijk to Gabriel, but just to clarify, because I'm seeing some of the comments in the chat, my point is not that I'm not trying to say that Gabriel's not worth buying. He absolutely is. Like I said, he's the one player that I regret not going for a wildcard. I'm just saying I don't think selling Van Dijk is the move. I think I should sell one of my other defenders. Liverpool are a much worse defence than Arsenal. Again, I'm not saying Liverpool are better. Please listen to what I'm saying. I'm just saying Liverpool defence is probably top 5, right? Maybe even top 3 in the league. Arsenal's the best. I've been saying that for a very, very long time, way before this season. I'm saying maybe go for both. Come on, don't tell me Gabriel's knee-jerk. That's absolutely nonsense. I'm always rating this guy. Minter is being overlooked. He's a really good option. I agree. If you want a cheap midfielder under 6, you should definitely look at him, especially now the Chelsea away game is out the way. I would sell Lacroix, but Lacroix's got pretty good fixtures as well. And the thing is, we're all talking about defensive contributions. Is 4 at the back okay? Is 5 at the back okay? Maybe I just get 5 good defenders and at times use them. Like Everton away for Lacroix is not bad, even though I've got Dewsbury Hall, which is not great. Bournemouth at home is okay. Arsenal away is tricky. Then it's home games against Brentford, Brighton, Wolves away, Man United at home, Burnley away. He's got good goal threat as well. I'm tempted just to keep Lacroix and sell Goodmanson. I just once I've got that money in defence, it's probably staying there for a while. I don't know if I want to commit. So we'll see. Encouraging that rank can change dramatically in a few weeks. Yeah, and it always will this early on. Like, if you're far behind, there's plenty of time to get ahead. And if you're far ahead, there's plenty of time for the red arrows to start. Thoughts on Rice? Had him since game week 1 and love him. I think he's an okay pick. Yeah. He's got set pieces. He does get forward. I don't know what his defensive contributions have been like, though. Let me see. Declan Rice. What's he got so far? He has had... Did he get him today? Yeah, he got 12 today. He's hit it twice in the first 6 game weeks, but he didn't play one of the matches. He was on the bench. So, yeah, he's okay. The problem is he's 6.5. So you got Sarr at 6.4. You got a lot of cheaper forward midfielders as well. Thoughts on Saliba? He's managing an injury at the moment, apparently. That's why he was benched today. So I'd much rather get Gabriel. I'm fuming the last 4 games I benched Gabriel. He's scored in 3 of them. Ouch. Yeah, you don't want to bench Gabriel unless you absolutely have to. I'm 2.2 million. Is my season over? Yeah, you'll never recover from that. There's only 32 game weeks to go. Is it crazy to say Sarr is the best midfielder right now? Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy to say that. I think he's very, very good. I don't know if he's the best. Although, if you ask me who's the best, yeah, maybe he is. Semenyo, probably, actually. Will Bruno stay on penalties? I don't know. I think he will, but I'm a little bit less confident after last time. Anderson to Gabriel saves you 0.5 million. If you did Goodmanson to Gabriel, you would bench Anderson almost every week anyway. But his fixtures aren't good until game week 10 anyway. Like, you've got to think longer term. I don't have a wild card anymore, right? So, I think it's okay. Like, when you say I'm going to bench players, that's fine. Like, it's okay to have a good squad. I think everyone hates getting points on the bench, but having Anderson on the bench for... Like, I guess the question is, who would you rather have on the bench, Anderson or Goodmanson? I'd probably rather have Anderson, especially over the long term. It depends how useful that 0.5 million is. But for example, if I do Goodmanson to Gabriel, I can still afford to do Paquetá to Sarr. I've got enough money in the bank. Now, Gabriel might go up before I buy him. I'm not going to rush to buy. But if you look at Fulham's fixtures, the next 3 are pretty bad. Bournemouth away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away. But from game week 10, he's really good again. Wolves at home, Everton away, Sunderland at home. Spurs away, Man City at home, 13-14, not quite so good. But then it's Palace at home, although Palace at home is not a good fixture. Burnley away, Forest at home, West Ham away. So he gets defensive contributions a lot. The fixtures are pretty good from 10 onwards. Goodmanson is good at... Honestly, I've got 5 good defenders. This is the problem with buying Gabriel. It's like, which good defender do you sell to get a better defender, really? Sarr is definitely going to be 6.5 soon. I think on Sarr, I feel like I can just wait a little while. They've got Europe coming up soon, so I can wait and see what his minutes are like. They're probably just going to end up being really good. Like, Everton away, Bournemouth at home is pretty good, but then it is Arsenal away. I feel like Sarr, I can maybe wait until game week 10. I'm not saying you should, by the way. If you need a new cheap midfielder, you could just buy him now. I think 7 and 8 is fine. But I don't feel in a rush to get him until maybe game week 10. I think I can maybe get away with it until then. Saka in for Foden, Reinders. No, I would just keep both of them. Chalobah replacement, sub 5 million. Sub 5 million. Senesi, maybe? Depends how much money. It depends who you've already got. Like, Fulham at home, Palace away, Forest at home, next 3 is probably okay. There's probably someone better, but yeah, Senesi off the top of my head, sub 5 million. Reckon they'll give the Watkins assist. Haven't they already said it's a Rodgers assist? I know Anderson gets DEFCON, but Fulham hardly ever keep clean sheets. Their defensive numbers are pretty good, though. You're right. They've only got... How many clean sheets is it? Why does it not tell me the scores here, by the way? Why does it only say 1 loss? That's a bit weird. I'm sure it used to tell you what the score was. Yeah, only 1 clean sheet so far this season. Gakpo and Porro both bench, keep or sell. I think Gakpo long term is just a transfer out. Porro, I wouldn't panic on him just yet. I think they'll play him more often than not. But you're obviously not going to be able to rely on him now. If Bruno is off penalties, what are your thoughts on options? In Burmo, Palmer, Saka, or someone else? Saka probably, or go back to Salah. Is he a must sell if not on penalties? I'm not sure I'd say must sell, but I wouldn't be keeping hold of him too much longer. The people that directed anger to the creators are now hiding behind their sofas. The template team shot gathering the most points. Yeah, the template was pretty obvious for wildcard in Game Week 6, I think. And it worked really well, which is a bit... Well, I kind of like it because I had a lot of those wildcard 6 players, but I wish the players I didn't have had all blanked. But it is what it is. With Champions League this week, risk of Verts being benched again. I guess it depends what happens in the Champions League. But like in any player that's been benched recently, if the question is there a risk? Yeah, Porro, Verts, Gakpo. There's of course a risk now. I guess we wait and see what happens midweek. Have 5.2 in the bank and plan move was Guiu to Gyökeres. Would his performance today and Nuno to West Ham put you off that? I don't know if Nuno to West Ham really puts me off too much, to be honest. I think not buying Gyökeres is fine. But the thing is, we keep going back to it like, oh, is he a bit of... He's just played 90 minutes again. So 4 of the last 5 matches, he's played 90 minutes. He will get chances in these easier games. But Fulham away and Palace at home straight after is not amazing, really. So I think it's okay not to buy him. But I'm not sure I would let today put you off too much. Can't believe I say this after 150 million buy, but Ekitike should be first choice at the moment. Liverpool didn't look the same without him. Well, I mean, Isak's not fully match fit, is he? That's why I can't understand why people keep buying him. If you don't buy Gyökeres, who'd you buy? There's no one else. You just go cheap, maybe? Depends who you're selling as well. Like, Mateta's not a bad option, I don't think. If you only had 1 free transfer, would you get an Arsenal defender or attacker? Well, I'm probably going to go Gabriel instead of an attacker, but it depends who you have to sell. Like, if I had the money to do Paquetá straight up to Saka and keep the rest of my squad, I'd maybe be tempted by that. Isak will come good. He just needs to get his fitness up. Like, Isak and that Liverpool team will be ridiculous eventually, I'm sure. Would you do Porro and Munoz to Gabriel and Senesi? I don't think you need to sell Munoz. Porro to Gabriel sounds pretty good if you got the money. King could be good value at 4.5. Yeah, he started again and he got... Let me see how many minutes he got this week. Because I know he keeps getting subbed early. Yeah, 64. So he seems to be like a 60, 65 minute player. So 4.5, it's okay. I think if you can spend the 5, though, it's worth it. Like Dewsbury Hall, Stack, maybe even Xhaka now that people mentioned earlier. Gon Gabriel just now has had the exact funds. Nice. I'm going to wait. Annoying that goal today. Again, I know I've said this like a million times in this stream, but it's even more annoying because now his price might go up. Like earlier. He's already gone up last night, I think. I was hoping that I'd get to the deadline with that and going up again. But, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I spoke about Evan Nilsson earlier. I think he has been underwhelming, to be honest with you. I'm really not that excited about owning him. But then if the question is who do I sell him for, I don't know. I'm not going to go back to Mateta after selling him last week. He's got Arsenal away in Game Week 9 as well. I just don't know who I would buy. I'm not going to buy João Pedro this week against Liverpool. There's just not really any forwards I want. Yeah, I'm not. But Evan Nilsson's got Fulham at home, so selling to Strand Larsen with 1 free transfer just feels so rubbish. I'm just not going to sell Evan Nilsson because of that. Evan Nilsson will probably only get sold in my team if he gets injured or if I've got 2 free transfers to shift the funds around. Like Evan Nilsson down to a cheaper forward to put funds elsewhere, but I got no real interest in anyone. Like Voltemada, fine, but he keeps getting subbed before the 70th minute. Šeško, no chance. I like Strand Larsen, but I'm not going to do Evan Nilsson to Strand Larsen this week with 1 free transfer. It just doesn't seem worth it. Like Evan Nilsson's got Fulham at home. It's not that bad. Yeah, Mateta is a good pick, and I do think maybe I've made a mistake selling Mateta instead of Evan Nielsen, but I don't think it's such a mistake that I need to do Evan Nielsen to Mateta this week. Doku's a great FPL asset until he starts getting benched. Time for a 5-4-1 or 4-5-1? Probably not, no, but you can play it some weeks for sure. Mateta feels like the set and forget forward at that price. You could be right, yeah. Saka needs a bit of funding. Williams to a second 4 million, or Porro down to Senesi and keep Williams. I mean, Williams is a bit rubbish, to be honest, but so is probably Porro. So Porro down to Senesi might be good. Nketiah is back, but he's not going to take serious minutes off Mateta, I don't think. Strand Larson in Game Week 8. Yeah, I've looked at your crash to Strand Larson, Bruno Fernandes to Salah in Game Week 8. And just not get Gabriel this week. But that feels much more difficult now after the goal this week. It's like a reminder of how good he is, even though I already knew it. I don't think Anderson's fixtures are as good as people think. They're pretty good from Game Week 10. Also, I don't really see... Okay, so let's just forget about Gabriel and Arsenal defenders for a second. Let's say I'm selling Anderson. Who am I buying? Which defenders are worth buying over the next couple of weeks, apart from Arsenal? Like, who is everyone eyeing up? If we're saying that Anderson's fixtures aren't that good, so he's worth selling, who'd you go for from 7 onwards? But you can't say an Arsenal defender. Reinders is pretty bad if you expect points. Better playing Rice, Kudus, Caicedo. Yeah, I mean, Caicedo's blank. Kudus is blank this week. Pretty good points. Romero, but you've just missed the Wolves game, right? Okay, let me go through some of these players. So Dan Burn, not a bad shout. Who are they playing next? Did he hit Defcons again today? I'm pretty sure he would have done. He was heading... Oh, he didn't. He got 9. He seemed like he was heading absolutely everything out. Yeah, Forest at home, Brighton away, Fulham at home. Not bad. Not bad. But here's the thing, right? I don't need to play Anderson for the next 3 weeks. And by the time you get to Game Week 10, Dan Burn is West Ham away, Brentford away, Man City at home, Everton away. So it's not bad, but 3 of the 4 are away. Maguire. I'm not gonna entertain the Maguire shout. Romero, Leeds away, not bad. Villa at home, Everton away, pretty good. But Game Week 10, when Anderson's fixtures get good again, Chelsea at home, Man United at home, Arsenal away. Fulham at home, Newcastle away. Are Newcastle that good until Game Week 23? I think Game Week 10 to... Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong fixtures. I'm looking at Romero. Newcastle pretty good until Game Week 23. Yeah, fair enough. The fixtures are pretty good the whole way through. I'll give you that. But again, is Anderson to Burn worth a transfer? When I don't need to play Anderson that much. That's the thing. It just feels like there's going to be... Right now, it looks like there's not much to do. But over the next few weeks, like if Palmer gets fit or Saka looks really good, there's going to be transfers to make. I might want Salah back at some point. Like Anderson out just feels pretty rubbish to me. I know it's only 1 clean sheet in 6, but yeah, Alderete, fair enough. Fair enough. Is Trippier essential now? No, I don't think so. Captain Raya next week, you'll thank me. I doubt it. Like, what's the most that Ray is realistically going to get? Like a 9-pointer, maybe? Is DEFCON ruining FPL? In a few weeks, everyone will have Tarkowski, Anderson, Gabriel, Senesi, and Van Dijk. I mean, I said... I'm not going to say I called this at all, because I think we can't just say that defensive contributions was a mistake after 6 game weeks. But I did say, when everyone was going on about it'll make the game so much better, it will open up all these pool of players, I said all it will do is shift who the best players are. So instead of looking at Munoz now, you're looking at Richards or Lacroix. Instead of looking at, an attacking... The problem is there's not really that many attacking defenders. So it's like a double problem. One, the defensive contributions right now are pretty good, but also there's no attacking defenders to look at. But it's like, why bother? Why bother taking the risk when you can just get a nailed centre-back that's never getting rotated, who also picks up an extra +2 points most weeks? And what did it take? It took about 4 weeks until everyone realised who the best players are now. And it's always going to happen. Always going to happen. But yes, that is a good point. Defensive contributions will not continue at this rate unless something crazy happens this season. So it feels bad now, but that's why I'm not going to write it off after 6 game weeks. But I do just think generally people will adapt. So It doesn't massively increase the player pool. Maybe with midfielders it has, but defenders not really. Arsenal defence or Van Dijk long term? Definitely Arsenal defence. Defcon feels like it's made such a template defence. Yeah, but there's other factors that have gone into that, right? People are just looking to move attackers around. They want to keep the cheap defenders. And by the way, pricing plays a part with this as well. Like, in hindsight now, Anderson should be 5 million minimum. Senesi should be 5 million minimum. They both started at 4.5. Now, I don't really put a huge amount of blame on FPL. I think with Senesi in particular, we didn't even know necessarily if he was going to be 100% first choice, depending on which centre-backs Bournemouth bought at the start of the season. But look, it is what it is. Why don't you have João Pedro? Should I sell? I tried to be clever and went Evan Nilsson instead. And to be fair, it hasn't really punished me so far. But if you've got João Pedro, he's an easy hold. The fixtures coming up are really good after Liverpool. Kudus and Richarlison frustrated me on Saturday night. I'm telling you now, if I'd gone with my free hit 6 plan, I'd probably be in tears right now. Not literal tears, but probably close to, because I would have got hardly any points outside of Haaland. I mean, I've got hardly any points outside of Haaland anyway, but at least I was able to triple captain. Like, I would have probably talked myself into Foden blanked, Richarlison blank, Kudus blank. I maybe would have gone a second man United attacker blank. Vardiol blanked as well. Might have gone there. Spurs obviously didn't get a clean sheet. Like, free hit 6 just didn't go that well for what I would have picked, I don't think. I reckon I might have even talked myself into removing Semenyo as a play against the ownership as well. Would you do Mateta to Yorkresh? I don't hate it, but I think I would be tempted just to hold Mateta. It's hard to know what the minutes will look like once Europe starts. Like, will Nketiah... I don't think Nketiah will start, but will he start getting more minutes off the bench? Probably. Who would you rather have for only game week 7? Strand Larson and Saka or Yorkresh and Wirtz? Is it also worth a -4 for Gabriel 1 week early? No, I don't think so. Game week 7, Wolves have got who in game week 7? I do not know. They've got someone at home, haven't they? Brighton. Probably Strand Larson and Saka then. I just wouldn't trust Wirtz right now. Plus, it's Chelsea away anyway. I was going to say Gabriel won't score a header every week, but next week he may well score a header against that West Ham defence, unless Nuno can get him playing really well pretty quickly. If you get Gabriel in, who will you bench? Van Dijk. Van Dijk goes on the bench. Had Chalobah and Bruno on free hit. Free hit 6 was awful. Ouch. Yeah, Chalobah red card. Honestly, it's so funny. 2 weeks ago, people asked me about Tosin and Chalobah, and I said Tosin, and he got benched. And then someone asked me about Chalobah again this week, and I was like, yeah, he's okay, but I just don't trust Chelsea defence in terms of benchings. He starts again, of course. He has to at the moment. And then, yeah, red card. Not great. João Pedro has had a combined 0.15 XG in the last 3 games. Not entirely his fault, but I'm selling. Yeah, red cards obviously don't help with that. João Pedro I would not sell. I think that's a waste of a transfer, if I'm honest. I think in game week 8-9, I might regret not having him. And also, I think with João Pedro, expectations are just too high. You know, he scored from pretty much every shot he had through the Club World Cup and at the start of the season. And it's like he's essential. His ownership is massive. It's way too high for how good of a pick he is, I think. But that doesn't mean you should sell him. I think he's a more than a good hold. Like, really good hold. Get Saka or get Gabriel first. It depends who you're selling. Like, really, it does. Why is Evan Nilsson second on price increases? Maybe people are buying him. Should I sell Gakpo after his benching? If so, who should I get? I can jump to Saka or Bruno as I have 2.2 in the bank. Gakpo to Saka sounds pretty good to me. Gabriel goal basically nullified our triple captain. Kind of, yeah, but obviously we could have had both. I don't think that's it. I did think that way as well, but I don't think it's a healthy way to look at it, because you could have had both. We just didn't. João Pedro is priced too low for Chelsea's main forward. Close to must. He's not on penalties. He's only got like 14 or 15 Premier League goals in 3 seasons or something. I don't think he's must own. I massively disagree with that, but I wouldn't sell him. Keep or sell Salah. Who should he be replaced with? I'd probably keep him unless you're looking to buy Haaland. Why am I not captaining Bruno in Game Week 7? Because I own Haaland. Worth adding a Newcastle defender for the clean sheet potential? Potentially, yeah. Depends who you're selling. I think Newcastle defenders look pretty good. Dan Burn is where I would go. He seems to be pretty nailed. The defensive contributions look pretty good. I would not mind going there. Which Arsenal player should be priority with free transfers? Again, people keep asking that. It depends who you need to sell. Like for my team, I could buy Saka for Bruno Fernandes, or I could buy Gabriel for Goodmanson. So it just makes sense to buy Gabriel, right? There's no point in selling Bruno before he plays Sunderland. Gravenberch, LT hold, rank versus others his price. I think Gravenberch is a pretty bad pick, if I'm honest. But if you've got him, I guess you keep him. Like I would probably have Caicedo. I would have Dewsbury Hall, Stack, Xhaka, Minter, all of them ahead of Gravenberch. He's not that attacking. He's not amazing for defensive contributions, and he blocks a Liverpool spot. And you may want 3 at some point. Evan Nielsen to Yorkresh. I think it's an okay move, yeah. On wildcard 8, I'd be tempted to roll the transfer, you know. Yorkresh is better than Evan Nielsen this week, but is it enough to use the transfer? Not so sure. Bruno or Saka, Njai or Kudus. Maybe. I was going to say Njai, but I think that was more thinking from Game Week 6, because he's obviously got West Ham. You've missed that fixture now, so it's Palace at home, City away, Spurs at home, Sunderland away. Still pretty good. Kudus, though, I guess you've missed the Wolves game as well. I'm gonna stick to Njai. Is Xavi good? He's okay. I'm not sure I'd be buying him right now. Caicedo's not my favourite around his price, no. What was my rank before the Gabriel goal? I don't know. Why'd you have Bruno above Yorkresh? Yeah, I might switch that back around. I'm not quite sure because I've got Yorkresh vice-captain. I tend to overreact a little bit on Saturday and Sunday, and then I chill out a bit by Monday. Better upgrade Gakpo to Saka or Wood to Yorkresh. Liverpool's fixtures are okay, you know, from 8 onwards. Gakpo might get the odd bench in, but then maybe Chris Wood will. I think I'd rather have Yorkresh and Gakpo than Saka and Wood. Chat, thank you. Do you think sales to Pope is a good idea? No money for Raya. It's okay, but most of the time I think more attacking transfers, like basically not moving a goalkeeper around, is generally a little bit better. Can I send my team to you as I have questions? You can ask me a question about it. I wouldn't send me a whole team. 370k, you can win it from here. I can't win it from here, but I'm happy. I'm super happy, honestly, with 400k. When Monday hits tomorrow, once I've had a sleep, honestly, I'll be pretty happy with 400k after 6 weeks. It could get better tomorrow. It could also get worse because Tarkovsky and Njai have got quite high ownership, I think. But you never know. Maybe Dewsbury Hall will get me a gold or something. Keep or sell Ekatika, I'd be selling. You're right, not worth the transfer on Anderson unless going Gabriel. Yeah, that's the thing for me. My defense just works pretty good. In fact, let me just bring up hang on. Let me bring up my team for the next few weeks and just see how bad the defense looks. So I don't think it looks that terrible at any point, really. It's not like this week is not perfect, but it's okay. One of my lights is not working, by the way. That's why our picture looks a bit darker. That's the beauty of technology. My lights work off of obviously electric, but wireless as well, and it's not picking up my left light, so I can't turn it on. I can't even manually turn it on, which is super annoying. So this is my team over on the My Team tool on Hub. So let me just go. Can I make this a little bit bigger so you can see it properly? Yeah, so I'll just go through. So defense you already know for this week. If I don't get Gabriel, my defense for next week is probably Goodmanson against Burnley away, Lacroix against Bournemouth at home, even though I've got 2 Bournemouth attackers, which is not great. But also we kind of sort of got to get away from that thinking because of defensive contributions. And then Van Dijk against Man United at home. And Gabriel that week's got Fulham away, so he's still a good pick that week, but maybe not as good as he looks in Game Week 7. And then Game Week 9, Goodmanson, West Ham at home, Senesi, Forest at home, and Van Dijk Brentford away. And then game week 10 is when most of these defenders start getting pretty good fixtures. So Lacroix, Brentford at home, Anderson, Wolves at home, Van Dijk, Villa at home, looks fine. Game week 11, Anderson, Everton away, Lacroix, Brighton at home. I don't have a great third defender. Senesi is Villa away, Goodmanson, Forest away, and Van Dijk City away. And that's when Gabriel would have Sunderland away. But game week 12 just looks amazing. Like Senesi's West Ham at home. Like basically, 4 of my defenders have got good fixtures in game week 12. So it's not perfect every week, but I can get away without a defender transfer. That's why Anderson to a Newcastle defender just doesn't excite me at all. But if I get Gabriel, I'm just done. How is your overall rank so high? Seems too high. Because I've actually had some pretty good game weeks the last 3, basically. My wildcard did well in 4, my bench boost did well in 5, and my triple captain did well this week. I've only got 1 chip left though, of course. At what point do you start to back against a high-owned player like Semenyo? Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm not sure you do at the moment. He's playing 90 minutes. He's got no Europe. So he's going to keep playing 90 minutes every week. He may keep penalties, although I suspect Clivert will take them instead. But he may keep them. He even took a direct free kick at the weekend. I wouldn't... I'm not... I think it's his price more. Because I was thinking about this, right? Semenyo is now 7.8. So he's only like 0.2, 0.3 off of Mbeumo, Cunha, Foden, etc. When he gets past 8 million, and I'm not necessarily saying any of those players I've mentioned are like miles better, but when he gets past 8 million, then I'd be tempted, I think. Doesn't take form into account, e.g. Watkins, if you notice that. Yeah, models don't tend to take form into account because I really don't want to get into a form debate, but it's not that useful, really. Like, good players just tend to be good players and they can score at any point, you know? When would you bench boost? I mean, that really depends on your team. When you've got a good bench, basically. Best Murillo replacement for 5.3 or less. I mean, I'd probably go to Senesi, I think. Who's got a better option? Less than 5 million. Senesi or Dan Burn, I suppose. Can you please rank the Arsenal defenders? Gabriel, and then a bit of a gap, and then probably... I mean, right now with the Saliba stuff, I'm not sure I would go there. I'd probably go Calafiori, then Timber, just because Calafiori is a bit cheaper. Nightmare of a week for me. Ran out of decision time on free hit. The app is rubbish and kept free. Yeah, the app's rubbish. Am I switching Bruno out? Not this week. What are your thoughts on Enzo long term? I think while Palmer's out, he's a really nice option. When Palmer's back, maybe a little bit less so. When does form end? That's the question we never have an answer to. We just don't know. I can tell you now, though. I can tell you definitively right now, Chris Wood's form has ended. Chris Wood's form has ended. Should I play João Pedro against Liverpool or Gakpo? I'd play João Pedro. He's at home. Would Saka have taken the penalty? We'll never know. We'll never know. When would I triple captain if I still had it? Haaland against Leeds at home in 13 or probably Salah against Sunderland at home in 14? What player would you have on wildcard this week that you don't have? I've not properly looked at wildcards yet for 7, so I don't know. But Gabriel, probably. Q, Chris Wood, 10 goals and 11. I hope not. How do price ranges of players already in your team work? I'm not sure what you mean. Like price changes, you mean? Sunderland are good. They are. I like the moody lighting. It's annoying me, but I can't fix it. Hopefully it works tomorrow. I'm putting the triple captain on Salah versus Man United after the break. Yeah, not a bad one, I guess. Glad I free hit to miss Watkins and Rodgers only returns. Ouch. Strand Larson to... I wouldn't sell Strand Larson if you got him. I think he's a fairly easy hold, I think, right now. You have 4 free transfers and think you will roll again. Nice. Chris Wood, 10 Premier League goals off Drogba's career total. Again, as I said last season, I've got nothing against Chris Wood. I think he's a really good Premier League forward. I've owned him many times in the past, even when he was at Burnley. I just don't think he's a 20-goal forward like he was last season. I think he just overperformed massively. I think with Yorkeresh, like if you're an owner, you just hold him for West Ham and then just reassess. I think we're panicking on Yorkeresh because he's 9 million. He's not scored recently, but he keeps playing 90 minutes, and he's got some good fixtures coming up. Yeah, price rises in your team. If a player goes up, for every 0.2 million a player goes up, you get 0.1 million extra to spend. So if you own a player at 6.5 and they go up to 6.7, then you get to sell them for 6.6. And by the way, I'm going to say this now, even though I suspect a lot of people watching already know this. So many people, they still people keep messaging me saying, "Why are you using all your chips so early?" We have double chips this season, so free hit, wildcard, bench boost, and triple captain. You get one of each game weeks 1 to 19, and then one of each game week 20 to 38. You cannot roll them over, so you need to get them used before game week 19. You can also roll up to 5 free transfers now. And you can also roll your transfers through a wildcard or free hit. So if you have 3 free transfers in your wildcard, you'll have 3 the week after. I picked Evan Nilsson because the fixtures were a bit better than João Pedro's fixtures. Would you do Salah to Haaland Verts to cheap midfielder and take a -4? Because I've got 5 players from Chelsea versus Liverpool and they play each other. Maybe for captaincy, I guess. I don't like taking -4s, but maybe for captaincy for Haaland. I don't know if Yorkeresh is good value. I'm not sure that's... I guess I can say that I'm fairly confident the goals are coming with the fixtures they've got coming up. I'm sceptical about whether he's worth 9 million, though. But I do think he'll be on penalties. So, if that penalty had been given today and Yorkeresh had taken it and he'd scored and got 3 bonus, maybe we're not even sat here talking about him right now. So I appreciate, there's always fine margins with these things. So I think the goals will come. I'm not really worried about that. He has had some difficult fixtures. We probably did pick him up a little bit too early. It's just whether he's going to be value for 9 million. I'm not convinced. But also, what do I need the money for right now? Yeah, Saka was holding the ball. And obviously, for the Fernandes penalty, he was holding the ball for a while. But it doesn't mean Saka would have taken it. Value doesn't matter. There's no one to spend. It does matter a little bit. But obviously, it depends how you disperse the money, right? So you're correct. For my team, it's all well and good saying Yorkeresh is not good value, but if I sell him, where is the money going? Fernandes back to Salah, basically. I can afford that, by the way. I've said already. Yorkeresh down to Strand Larson or below, and then Fernandes up. Yeah, he has got 3 goals already. That's why I'm a little bit tempted not to get Gabriel this week, but it's more difficult now. So if I got Semenya for 7.5, would he take up more than 7.5 my budget? No, he doesn't take up more of your budget. You just get to sell him for more. You still bought him for 7.5. Yeah, thoughts on Enzo are he's pretty good, especially while Palmer is out, basically. Yeah, clarity on the penalty situation would have been nice. I mean, what do people think of the penalty? Correct decision, or should it have been given? I think Pope did touch the ball. I think saying he won it is a bit of a stretch, but he did touch the ball, right? So you don't know what would have happened after that. I think it was probably correct to overturn it. But if they haven't overturned it, I'm not sure I would have been angry at that decision either. But I think it was probably correct not to award the penalty in the end. I always find it funny when you say he won the ball. I mean, he touched the ball and Yorkeresh would have probably got to it first. So is that winning the ball? I know what they mean by that, but the real penalty outrage is the blatant handball. But that's because it was a deflection, right? His hand was quite high up, though. New here, hi. Raya, Paris, Senesi, Gay, Munoz, Semenya, Kudus, Reinders, Yorkeresh, Haaland, Pedro, Bench, Dubravka, Kukurea, Dewsbury Hall, and Gakpo rate. Sounds pretty good. I mean, you could just roll this week and deal with, Gakpo's probably an issue at some point. Paro is as well, but you don't need to sell them this week. Your team looks pretty good. So you could just roll. Have 3 for next week and then decide what to do with Gakpo, etc. Would you play Dubravka or Sanchez for game week 7? Dubravka's at home and to Liverpool. Sanchez is at home. I'd probably play Sanchez. João Pedro suddenly a top transfer out. That's form. He's not in form. It might not be a penalty, but the fact the referee gave it, I don't think it was clear and obvious error. Yeah, fair enough. I guess once he touches it, the ref hasn't spotted that, has he? I tell you what also I think was incorrect. I think Brentford should have had a red card. I don't understand how that's not a red card. The wording from the Twitter account that tweets this stuff says that Mbeumo wasn't in control of the ball, therefore it shouldn't be a red card. But he's not in control of the ball because he gets fouled. He's got to tap in if he doesn't get fouled. So I don't understand how that wasn't a red card. Surely it's a clear denial of a goal scoring opportunity. Either way, Man United rubbish. Didn't deserve any points anyway. Saka versus Gyökeres on wildcard. I'd be quite tempted to go Saka purely because he's more of a differential and the cheap forwards look pretty good. Although, you could just turn around and say the cheap midfielders also look pretty good. Double jeopardy. Double jeopardy only counts if you try and play the ball, and he didn't try and play the ball. So, yeah, if the penalty had got awarded today, Pope was trying to win the ball. He was trying to play the ball, so he wouldn't have been red carded. That's the difference. Double jeopardy only counts that if you're trying to win the ball, or play the ball, whatever. If you just pull someone down, it's a red card and a penalty still. The explanation made no sense. I agree. Anyway, let's get off penalty chat. Thoughts on Captain Mbeumo against Sunderland? Don't mind it's a differential, but Sunderland defence has been pretty good. And Man United, I don't know. I don't want to talk about Man United. Just horrible. Saka will be managed these next few weeks. I doubt he goes to England. That is a good point. Gyökeres is playing 90 minutes pretty much every week at the moment. Now, maybe that doesn't happen against West Ham because of Champions League midweek, but Saka's minutes right now are less than Gyökeres for sure, up until the international break. Right, I'm going to leave it there, I think. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow with videos all week as normal. If you have enjoyed that stream, make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. I'll have my fingers crossed for Gabriel to lose some bone. No, I'll have my fingers crossed for a Dewsbury Hall goal tomorrow. That'll be a very nice end to the game week. Either way, pretty successful so far. Hopefully we can take that into game week 7 and beyond. So thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll be back with videos tomorrow. See you then.